Hi, my name is Steve Sobel. I'm the author of BabelExt as well as Reddit Enhancement Suite. Wanted to do a quick screencast and show you just how quickly you can get an extension built using BabelExt that runs in Chrome, Firefox, Opera, and Safari. So basically every browser except for Internet Explorer out there. The nice thing about BabelExt is it's got a boilerplate for kind of the basics that you need for each browser. It also has some functions that abstract away the differences between the APIs between the different browsers. We're not going to dig into too many of those functions right now. We're going to do a really simple extension just for the purposes of showing you how fast you can make something that you can compile into an extension. So we're going to download the source code. You can insert your WinRAR joke here. And I'm going to pull everything out of here except for sync.html. The reason that's included in there is for the kitchen sink demo that you may see on BabelExt.com. So you can see the source code of how that works and see an example of how each of the BabelExt abstracted functions might be useful. So I've extracted those to a directory that I had ready and waiting. Now you'll see this makelinks.bat file here. What this does is it's going to take the files in this lib folder here, and it's going to make links to them in each browser's extension directory. So we have separate directories where each of our browser extensions are going to be compiled because they each have a little bit different file structure, a little bit different manifest files. Chrome has a manifest.json, for example. Opera has an XML file. So to keep the project clean, it's nice to have these separate directories, and then your main scripts just live in this lib folder. So because I'm on an old-ass laptop with Vista, I actually have to run this as an administrator. You can't make symbolic links if you're not an administrator. So that is a helpful tip in case you download BabelExt and that's not working for you. So we're going to go here, we're going to run make links. You'll see it does a whole bunch of magic. Close that up. And now I have actually my favorite text editor here open to this directory already, and you'll see we've got everything in here. So the main place we're going to be working is the lib folder. That's where our main JavaScript is, and I'll get to that in a minute. But first I'm going to go to the Chrome manifest. And a manifest is basically a file that just tells the browser what this extension is all about and some basic rules around it. So I'm going to edit this real quick, and we're going to call this the YouTube Theater Mode extension. What we're going to build is a quick script that finds YouTube links on a page and rewrites them to direct to the same video but in theater mode, which basically makes the video take up your whole screen, which not only is just kind of a nice thing in and of itself, but it also, as a nice side effect, gets rid of some of the clutter in the ads that you'll see. In the description, I'm also going to add YouTube Theater Mode, and I'm going to be nice and leave this credit to myself in here. We're not going to worry about the update URL right now, but what you would do here is, if you are going to host this extension yourself and you want people to auto-update from your server, you need this update URL in here for people to find out when the newest version of your extension comes out. Now in this matches thing, we actually want this extension to run on all URLs. So this is a special keyword, it's a Chrome-specific thing. So one of the things about BabelExt, as nice as it is, you will have to learn a bit about the documentation for each of the different extension architectures. But we're going to start with Chrome because it's the easiest to develop in. I don't really prefer one browser over the others in general, but as a developer, it's much easier to develop in Chrome than any other browser when you're developing extensions. And I'll show you why. I'm going to load up my Chrome version of my extension. So the way you load your unpacked extension here is you just point Chrome to the directory where all your code is, and you'll see it pops right up there, and you'll see it's called YouTube Theater Mode, so here's the thing that I was just editing. The nice thing about this is once I edit my code, I can just click reload and go refresh the page that it was supposed to be running on. Not all the other browsers are quite this simple. If I just leave this tab open, it's real easy to kind of pop back and forth, and it makes my workflow a little bit faster. So although I actually do most of my browsing in Firefox, I do like to develop in Chrome. So we don't need the source code for BabelExt to open anymore. Let's go back here. You'll see, without mentioning anything about it, I deleted the permissions section of this JSON file. That's because we don't need any special permissions for what we're going to build. Now, in the extension.js, this is kind of your boilerplate for where you will get started. You'll see this include directive here, and this is actually kind of meaningless. The reason it's in here is because when I got started doing extension development, I did it doing GreaseMonkey scripts. And GreaseMonkey actually reads this metadata and makes use of it. If you were loading this as a user script in Opera or Chrome, this line would be relevant, but it's here for legacy purposes now, because maybe you also want to release your extension as a GreaseMonkey script. So we're not going to worry about this here, but we could say include star, so it goes on all sites, or http://star. Now what we're going to do is we're going to delete all this extra code. There's some GreaseMonkey compatibility stuff here, but I'm not going to release this as a GreaseMonkey script. And there's all the code that shows you how BabelExt works on the kitchen sink demo. And that's in there, obviously, just so you have a chance to see what exactly BabelExt can do. So we're left here, and you'll see the comments on why this, I'm going to leave this here. The comments on why this is here is that Opera actually will run this whole script on every iframe on a page as long as the domain matches. Actually, even if the domain doesn't match, sometimes it will run. So this is just a quick JavaScript check to return false if the page has an iframe. You may be able to delete that, depends on your use. So what we're going to do first is we're going to scan the page for links that have YouTube in it. So we're going to do document.querySelectorAll. And I'm not sure if everyone is familiar with attribute selectors. You can even do matches, so I'm going to do something like this. Anything with youtube.com/watch. This will get every link with youtube.com/watch as a part of the href attribute and return it in an array. If I do something like this, YouTube links equals. So the next thing we need to do is we need to iterate through this array and we need to rewrite the links. And so what we'll do for loop, we'll iterate through all of our YouTube links, and the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to make sure that this element we pulled up actually has an href. You don't necessarily have to do this, but it's a safety check in JavaScript, so here's what we're going to do is we're going to say if YouTube links provide, actually we're going to make sure it exists at all, and then if it does, we'll assume it has an href because links should. So what we're going to do next is we're going to grab the link and we're actually going to pull off the ID of the video. And the way we're going to do that is with a regular expression. So what we're going to do is we're going to say matches equals YouTube links i.href, so that grabs the href off of it, and then we're going to do a match. And I actually have saved in a little notepad the whole script that we're going to write. Because, you know, I wouldn't want to make a typo and look like an idiot in my own screencast. So let's just actually copy the whole thing. You're going to see it's not very different. Little minor micro optimization here, getting the length out here. Other than that, we're doing exactly what I was typing. So for those of you not familiar with regular expressions, I would strongly recommend looking at a website like regexpal and testing something like this out. In fact, I'm going to show you in this screencast what this does. So we'll pull up Chrome and we'll go to regexpal.com, and if we put our regular expression here and then we type a YouTube link, so youtube.com/watch $v equals ABCDE, you'll see we're searching for the string v equals, and then these parentheses mean capture what's inside, and these brackets mean I'm going to give you kind of a list of characters that can match, and this plus means at least one or more. So \w is shorthand for word characters, which matches letters, numbers, as well as underscores. It doesn't match dashes, however, which are valid in a YouTube link. So we need to grab those too. So you'll see, if I cut and paste this a bunch of times, you'll see it's in a different color because it's a different kind of captured item. So what we're essentially doing here is we're going to grab that, and so we say if we found matches, then let's rewrite the link. Let's rewrite it to youtube.com/v/ and the result of that match. So in this case, it would be something like ABCDE. So really simple extension, doesn't do anything too complicated, but it is pretty handy. So in just a couple of minutes, and I've wasted at least a few minutes explaining stuff, we've already made a Chrome extension. And so we're going to go here, we're going to reload this guy, the latest edited source, and we'll go somewhere where we're definitely going to see some YouTube links. So I'm going to go to reddit.com/r/videos, and you'll see, if I roll over this link, at the bottom of my screen there, the YouTube link is /v/stuff. So let's just to prove it, we're going to disable our extension, we're going to reload. If I roll over here, you'll see it's actually a full-on URL. So in just a matter of minutes, we actually already created a Chrome extension, and just as a proof of concept that this isn't all smoke and mirrors and you can do more than just Chrome, we're going to pull up Firefox as well. There's a manifest for this, just like there is for Chrome. So I'm going to just put this in here. My full name is YouTube Theater Mode. My ID, I don't know, it's going to have to be something that's, this actually will get generated by the CFX program, but we're going to just use the default for now. My name, should be something like this. And you'll see in the lib folder, we've got a main.js, and this is something you won't have to worry too much about, but for editing this little bit here. So the main.js in a Firefox extension is what loads content scripts in. So like you saw in my Chrome manifest where I was editing the matches thing to hit all URLs, in the case of the main.js, I'm just editing this include thing and saying load always. We're going to load BabelExt.js, which is kind of the backbone of BabelExt, and extension.js. Now in this case, you wouldn't even really need BabelExt.js, but I will show you a feature in a couple minutes, just to show you that BabelExt does some stuff above and beyond. So what I need to do here is I need to run the add-on SDK, so I'm going to run bin/activate, and this is stuff you'll learn about if you read about the add-on SDK. So I'm going to go into my directory here, and I'm going to do cfx run. This runs the Firefox extension. And I haven't had to do much special for the Firefox extension. So we'll go to reddit.com/r/videos, and we don't see anything apparent except if we look at our status bar, it rewrote the URLs there as well. So this will also work just fine in Opera as well as Safari. To close this out, I'm going to go back to Chrome, and just to show you some of the stuff that BabelExt can do beyond what I've already showed you, which is just serve as a really nice boilerplate for getting started, there's actually a number of features that are useful as well that are a little bit different in every browser.